Oh, I cut early. Didn't even get the end rotation. Good evening and welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Dan Camilleri.
And I'm Laura McKillop. We'd like to start by thanking Enduro for their ongoing support in bringing you our fortnightly podcast. Tonight, we're fortunate enough to be speaking with Josh Latty from Kelbar and Kamaruka Kelpies. Did I pronounce that right?
Yep, no, spot on.
Yeah, really well, Laura. I was actually, I'm thinking, I hope she says that bit because I'm looking at Kamaruka. I'm thinking, I really don't want to get that wrong. So, good job.
Yeah, no, I pulled it up before and I was like, I'm going to say it how you spell it.
Yeah, how you going, Josh?
Good. No, we're going well.
Nah, very cool. Actually, while we got you, the Calabar and Kamaruka, where how does that come to be?
So Kamaruka is the name of the property that I grew up on when I was a kid. So that was my prefix because Dad's was True Blue, so I sort of went with something different.
Okay.
And Kelbar is my wife Chloe's. That was her prefix she had when we got together. So we sort of just combined the studs, and it was just easy to keep them rolling and put them together rather than have to start a new one over. So
yeah,
if we own the parts, but outside of that, we sort of do it together.
Yeah, that's cool. I love what you've done there. Like if you go alphabetical order, Kamaruka should be first, but you've put ladies before gentlemen with K-E instead of K-A. I love it. What a gentleman.
I didn't think we put too much thought into it. I think Chloe just wrote it, so she put hers first.
We'll have to get Chloe on another time then as well. Yeah. So, where's home, Josh?
Well, I'm sort of Balmoral, Western District, Victoria, so between Hamilton and Horsham. And yeah, we're on a sheep and cattle place here.
Yeah. Have you always been down there?
I grew up here and then I went away working and traveling and that sort of stuff for a while and ended up making my way back home. It sort of wasn't planned, but opportunities happened and we ended up back here. So it's been really good.
So, son of a Kelpie man in True Blue. I actually didn't know Dad was True Blue until just now. It's pretty cool. So born on the land, obviously.
Yeah. Mum and Dad, when I was little, they lived on Kangaroo Island, South Australia, and they ended up moving over here, work, and it was just got too cost of living on the island, got too much for the young family, so they moved over here and a bit more opportunity with livestock and that. And Dad managed some farms for a while, and then he went contracting for years, and he still is now. Always grown up around farming and dogs and that sort of side of things, and yeah, it's been real good.
How old were you when you left Kangaroo Island, mate?
I was about 4, so pretty young.
Yeah.
I can't remember much of it.
That would have been a bit of an experience for the old boy.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Like his family farm was over there, and then big move coming across here, so sort of had no family and was moving to a job. They sort of went for an interview and stuff, but didn't really know much about it all. And it's worked really well for them. They've done pretty good, well for themselves.
Did you ever want to do anything else but be on the land?
Not really. No, I've sort of always been in land, and especially the dogs. Like everywhere I've gone, I've sort of moved because there was a better opportunity for the dogs and stuff like that. And I had a couple of jobs where the dogs weren't doing much, and they never seemed to last very long.
Yeah. So when you finished school, mate, what did you do with yourself? You said you moved away for a while.
I got a farm-based apprenticeship, so I did a course through school, and I ended up 2 days a week on a farm for year 12, and then I ended up staying on there as a farmhand and did 2 years there, and I left that, and then I went contract and did a bit of work for Mum and Dad and a few other local contractors around, and then I moved up to Lopia Downs, which is sort of north of Bordertown on the Victorian South Australian border there, and there was a big aggregate that Hassad Australia put together there. It was sort of 120,000 acres and 60,000 ewes, and I was junior overseer there for a couple of years. And I guess I'd sort of got a bit in front of my development. I probably was growing up faster than I really wanted to. So I left that and went contracting again and sort of went out mid-South Australia and Western New South Wales mustering cattle, sheep and goats for 2 or 3 years. And that was really good. That was unreal. One of the best things I've ever done as far as my work career. You go.
Can we come back for a sec? You said there, you made a really humble comment when you said, I was probably growing up quicker than what you should have been. Like, do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, so I was 21 and I was playing footy and just being a lad. And then I ended up in this overseas role as a junior overseer. And I sort of had a fair bit of land under me. Like I had probably 35,000 acres and 10,000 ewes and 500 cows and 2 or 3 staff. And it was a huge load all the time and having to be professional and all that, especially for a corporate ag type business as well. Like there was a lot on you, like, you know, even going into the footy club and having a good, like, you know, good time after a game of footy. Like it always got back to work and stuff like that. Like, so it was just, I just felt like I was probably growing up quicker than I actually wanted to. So I made a move out of that and it was really good. It like going from there and then going contracting and all the responsibility of contracting and having to run all your own gear and be responsible and learn life goals and stuff like that, like just life skills. It was really good for me. Like I did a lot of growing up, contracting more so than overseeing.
How did you progress so quickly? Like you said, 21 years old, they're junior overseer. Like, how old were you when you started there? Sorry.
Oh, I was probably only 20. I wasn't there very long. What have been there a bit over 6 months.
Yeah, wow, and progressed that quickly.
Yeah, I had a really good couple of good managers above me, and they obviously seen potential. And I probably was someone who took a lot of ownership and responsibility of my job pretty quick. Like growing up with mum and dad running that contracting business, like and quality of job and you know accountability of your own tasks and all that sort of stuff. Like it sort of was just second nature. And I guess when I worked on other places, I always took that with me, and I probably still do. And it sort of just, yeah, if someone wasn't doing a job as well as you needed it done, you sort of just pulled them up, and that sort of leadership was noticed, obviously, and they wanted to harness it and enhance it, I guess. And yeah, it was an opportunity I couldn't turn down. Like, was sort of what I wanted to do, but I envisioned for myself was probably doing it as a 26, 27-year-old, not 21.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience.
Yeah, I totally appreciate what you said there as well. Like, you can't just let your hair down. Like, you feel like you're always in the spotlight and it comes back. Like, I've been in a couple of those roles myself, obviously not in ag, but in those roles myself. And you're just like, you know, there's a night there you'd like to let loose a bit with the boys or whatnot. And you're like, just like, I can't.
Especially when a lot of your colleagues and that are part of the same footy club.
Yeah.
120,000 acres, we probably had 15 to 20 staff with us, and half of them would have played footy or netball in the footy club. Like, there wasn't much else to do.
And your company probably would have even been sponsors of a lot of sporting clubs.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, they were, yeah. So you sort of had to have a bit of ownership of your actions, and it was pretty hard to do when you were 21.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
how did you go about making the choice to leave there and go contracting?
It wasn't easy. Like I said, I had really good mentors and a really good boss, and I had a great job. But I sort of just had to probably have a think about what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. Like, I don't think like it was a position where there was a wrong or right answer. Like, I could have stayed there and done just as well as if I had left. But I wanted to go and see some country, and I wanted to go and experience different things and meet different people. And I wasn't going to do that if I stayed where I was.
Yeah.
That took a set, mate, to make a decision like that at 21 years old. Like,
yeah,
you would have probably had like a career path charted out for you, and you was going, nah, I think I'm going to do this thing instead. That's pretty admirable decision.
It did, but I guess it's one thing about having I thought I had a pretty handy team of dogs. There wasn't much I couldn't do. It doesn't matter where you go. You've always got a really good fallback plan. Like, you can always ring the local shearing contractor or landmarking contractor and get work. Like, you're never going to not be able to get a job. Like, if you want to work hard and have a good team of dogs that can do most jobs, like, it's only a couple of phone calls and all of a sudden you're back on someone's payroll pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty true, really, isn't it?
gives you a lot of freedom. Like you can make some pretty big ballsy decisions, but there's not a lot of risk in it because it's only a bit of fuel money. Turn around, drive home, and you got work again Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. So you went contracting from there, mate. Where did that? You said that took you into New South Wales for a bit
Yeah,
there.
I did a bit out western New South Wales. I did a bit of work with Ricky Jones at a Broken Hill there, and
Yep.
a few jobs around there. But spent most of my time working out at Port Augusta as base for the Underwood family, and they were running contract and goat muster and landmark and they did a bit of cattle work and stuff as well, but mostly goats. We mustered like the Flinders and the Googler ranges pretty much, and it was rough country. Like it's just like 90% rocks, and we were trying to get goats out of it. Like it was hard work, but it really did separate the men from the boys. Like you had to be a fair stockman to get the mob of goats out of there, and we had a good group of lads, and we did a lot of work, and we got a lot of goats. It was really good.
Talk us through it, mate. Like, obviously, that country's pretty hard. Like, did you try to tackle a lot of jobs similar? Like, did you have a similar plan? Did you change on the fly?
So we had most of the time we had a chopper. Like back then, that's when goats were really booming. Like they were sort of anywhere from $10 to $11.50 a kilo dressed. Like, so we had a chopper, and there were sort of 3 or 4 bikes most of the time, and you'd muster a range, and you'd pick the biggest, ugliest hill and put them all on it because they'd stay there. You could muster into that hill all day, and they're not going to leave it because that's where they want to be. And once you get a mob together and you get a plan, you sort of just try and push them in on a flat somewhere, hold them up, and then we'd build. While we got them holded up, we'd get someone to go and get the Land Cruiser with panels, and you'd build a set of yards and just put them in them where they were. You didn't try and take them too far because you just couldn't handle them, because you're putting 4, 5, 6, might even be 10 or 12 different mobs of goats together. They're not going to mob up. They hit the flat and they just go 100 different ways. So you do your best to hold them, keep the chopper behind you so they don't get up on the hill, and then the bikes sort of do the rest of the work. And then you just blow them into a set of yards and trailer them out from there, or truck them, whatever you can do.
Yeah, right. Did you use your dogs when you got them out into the flat, or when were you guys involved with that?
It all depended on the blokes we had around. Like if we had 2 or 3, even 4 other good fellas on 2-wheelers, I could, because I'd take a 4-wheeler, have some dogs with me. I did quite a bit of catching goats too. Like Billy Goat was worth $300. I didn't catch one for the day, and I paid my wage. So I did a fair bit of that sort of stuff. But yeah, most of the time it was too rough to have a dog on the bike. Like if I was on a 2-wheeler in that country, like I was flat out trying to keep myself on it, let alone cut a dog or two.
Yeah,
it's rough country.
How long were you doing that for?
Sort of did that for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I was in the winter months leading into spring, I'd go across and do that, and then I'd come back and work for some local contractors over the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Just got too hot over there to do anything. Like 50 degrees for 2-3 weeks at a time. Like you just can't do anything. So I'd come back home and work for local contractors, foot pairing or crutching or whatever needed doing, and then I ended up meeting Chloe, and then I stayed back over here. Then we went back a couple of times and did some contracting runs, but it just wasn't. It didn't work as a couple as well.
that was my next question. How'd that go?
It was challenging. Like there was just a lot of jobs that Chloe didn't have the experience to tackle. Like I'd been riding bikes for 10 years then, and even like I'd fall off 3 or 4 times a day. Like I don't expect anyone that hasn't been doing much of it to jump on a 2-wheel and try and keep up. Like it was just rough. But we'd come back and do a run through sort of June, July, August, mustering for shearing and some merino jobs and stuff like that, where you could use your dogs a lot more, and it was a lot slower and gentle. And we did that, and that was unreal. It was a great experience.
In those high pressure environments where you might be watching a goat go the other way, like really it's hard work with your partner sometimes. I can speak from experience, just working with my partner in general. Like it's 5 years now, so it's a bit easier. But the first couple of years, it was like, yeah, pretty tough going.
It is, especially like you said, especially when you're working with livestock as well. Like they've got a way of pushing you into your limit, and then a little bit past it.
I was talking to a friend the other day, and her and her partner were talking about something. She goes, "Yeah, we're pretty good most of the time. We only argue in the yards." Like I just have to have a good laugh about that. She's like, if there's going to be an argument, it will come out in the yards, and it doesn't matter who's there. It's going to happen.
100%.
But once we get home, it's all sweet.
Yeah. One thing we did used to do a lot of, we did a lot of say water, like mustering off of waters and trapping off of waters when it got a bit warmer, and that was real good for the dogs. We you just come through, turns and run the tanks off the night before, and then come back the next day, and there'd be mobs of goats sitting at a dry water trough, and yeah, we just did a lot of mustering them and build a set of yards while the dogs broke them in, and then jump them into the yards and go along, and you do that for the morning, and then once it got too hot, then you'd go home and tie the dogs up and come back and trailer them into a main set of yards in the afternoon, and that worked really well for everyone. Like your cocky would have mobs of goats that were giving him, they're bothering his livestock, his merinos and that, because the goats would get to the water trough and they'd just sit there. They wouldn't let your sheep drink. And but the contractor probably didn't see the value in sending, a chopper and 4 blokes or bikes in there to go and muster 30 or 40, 50 goats. So we do a lot of that with the dogs and the ute, and that was really good fun.
How did you find your dogs going from like your goat work to your sheep and cattle work? How did you find that helped educate them, or even really bring them on in years? Like, what's what I'm looking for here? Mature.
It was good. I found dogs would go from goats back to sheep and cattle, but not every dog can work goats.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your dog can work goats, you can pretty much work anything. Like for me, they're the pinnacle of the livestock. Like you gotta have the most touchiest, feeliest paddock dog that hangs like a pit bull. Like, and
when it gets it put on it.
Yeah, but it can only do it for a split second, or he loses the mob. Like it's that finicky. And you've got to be able to deal with a billy goat and then try and cover a nanny with her little twins going the wrong way. Like it is really tough. But yeah, like it was a good job because the dog only had to work the stock that were in front of him. And you get out of his head. You didn't have to be telling him left and right and sit and stay and off and in and all that, because if he couldn't work it out himself, you couldn't tell him fast enough anyway.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it was just all natural ability. As long as you had enough training on him to get him to the other side of the mob and just let him work, you could take 10, 12-month-old dogs out and give them some real life experience pretty quick.
How you said they went back to sheep and cattle, all right? Did you find, like, if you were working with sheep, for example, when I seen goats, like goats were just like their crack, like it's just like there's a highest value to them.
Yeah, and I still get that now here. Like, I run a manage a composite flock, and I've got Black Angus cows, and if there's cattle in the paddock, my dogs just go muster cattle.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Like but I probably select dogs that do go to that pressure situation more too. Like they sort of suit me. And it was the same with goats. Like I could have a mob of goats, might only be 50 or 60 on a water, especially when you're turning waters off, and there could be 1,000 merinos sitting around the same water trough.
Yeah,
and they'd just muster the goats out of the mob of the merinos.
They just like throthed on the conflict.
They love the conflict, and there's something about smelling the noise too. It winds them right up.
I got 2 dogs here, and if I'm doing something with my sheep but my goats are there, I'm forever just like calling their names to get their attention, because they just like look like I just want to work the goats. I'm like, no, come this way. Like it's pretty cool though. Like they seem like dedicated.
Goats, they really do grab their attention.
100%, mate. So what's sorry?
That's what I was going to say. Why do you like that conflict in your dogs?
Because a lot of the stock that I work, if you don't resolve the conflict, you don't get anywhere. Like, especially with these composites and black Angus cows, if you let that animal win that conflict or not resolve it, then it'll just cause trouble the whole way through. You know, your gateways, at your pressure points, at your yards. 9 times out of 10, she's a leader and she's trying to get away from where she should be going. So I want that dog to feel that stock and come to it and deal with it, and then it's dealt with. Then
Yeah.
If you don't deal with it, then you just have trouble time and time after again. Especially when these ewes have got lambs on, they're pretty hard to handle.
And have you always liked that?
I have, especially like because I come from a contracting background. If you didn't deal with that animal and make it, want to leave, you just didn't have flow.
Mhm.
A lot of handlers like crutch and trailers, drenching, all that sort of stuff, foot pairing, dipping. You got to have flow. It's the only way you get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll come back to that. I started thinking about some trialing questions then, but I'll come back to that a bit later. So, what's keeping you busy at the moment? Like, what you still contracting?
No, we manage a farm here at Balmoral.
Yep.
Yeah, we settled down with the family and stuff, and yeah, it's a really good fit. I was working for a corporate ag property over near Wallora, and they probably just didn't have the right sort of family values that we were looking for to raise a family into agriculture. And I believe it is something that the family's got to be a part of. Dad's working 12, 14, 15 hours a day. It's important for the kids to understand what he's working for. And I just didn't see that being able to happen with the corporate ag type model that they run.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved back to a family farm here, and we sort of got 10,000 ewes we lamb down, and anywhere from 50 to 200 head of cows, depending on the season. We've been struggling the last couple of years, keep cow numbers up. We just haven't had the feed, but we've had a pretty good break this year. It looks all right.
So you got a couple of kids there?
Yeah, I've got two girls.
Yeah.
One.
Sorry.
You go.
I was going to say, how do you incorporate them or bring them into that life and that lifestyle, and like introduce them into your day-to-day runnings? Like,
so we're really lucky here. We got a really good family-based farm that we work for. Like, they're obviously a company, like pretty big, but the bosses really understand family, and they've allowed, like, Chloe was obviously on the payroll working here before she had kids, and she still stayed on the payroll, and she does feeding most days and helps out that in those sorts of jobs, those low risk jobs. But it's good to get the kids out of the house, get her out of the house, and so the kids are heavily involved in what we do. They probably spend anywhere up to 5-6 hours a day on the farm most days, feeding or moving mobs up and down laneways or mustering or whatever needs doing.
how old are they?
Matilda's nearly 2, and Chelsea's sort of not quite 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And the reason I wanted to bring that up and highlight it, because you're obviously someone that's rests pretty hard on your morals, like, and to make a decision based like for your family and your career path, I reckon that's like really cool. Like, and you wanted your family to be part of it. Like, that's
Well, for me, for what I want to do, that they sort of have to. Like, I don't want to miss out on their development by having to have a job where I walk out the door at 6 in the morning and don't get back to 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Like, and they're asleep for 8 hours after that. Like, I just don't never get to see them. And I can't. I don't think you can do farm work in 8 hours. Like, it doesn't stop as soon as you go home, or it doesn't start as soon as you get there. Like, it's just unrealistic. But to be able to have somewhere where we can have the family as part of the farm, and the people that we work for understand that, it's really good. It's really special. Like, it's pretty unique.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. Like, I love just the picture you just set there. Like, it's so true, and I've done that. Leave at 6, home at 6, 7, and you miss out on so much.
100%.
You know, it's not the reason I've become a dad. So
No, you don't. You don't become a dad so you can avoid it.
no, that's right. It wasn't a tick off bucket list kind of check. It was something I really wanted to be, and one of those things I ever wanted to be, to be honest. But before we get carried away here and get too soft, do you want to tell us a little? Oh, mate, kids and dogs. I could talk about kids and dogs all day.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about your dogs, mate?
I don't know. I haven't got a great team at the minute. Sort of in between teams, to be honest with you. I had a pretty handy dog there a couple of years ago, and I lost him in a farm accident, and that sort of left a pretty big hole in my team I haven't filled yet. And I've been trying to breed my way back into it, and I'm getting there. Like, I've got to run of pups here at the minute now. I've got 2 or 3 litters planned for the rest of the year that I'm hoping I can find what I'm looking for. But like, I've got a pretty handy team. Like, there's not much I can't do, and they're somewhat competitive most weekends. But yeah, I'm missing my next once in every 10, 15 year dog that I'm waiting for.
That you want to make in less than 12 months.
Yeah, I needed him yesterday.
Do you mind if I ask who that dog was and how old they were?
He was a dog I had called Camarooka Jack, and I lost him. He was just gone 4. I just won the South Australian States with him, and 2 weeks later he jumped off the can-am to catch a fly-blown sheep and tripped and went under the back wheel. That was the end of him.
Shit, sorry to hear that, mate.
No, it's all good.
Look, 4 years old, so because you said it left a bit of a hole in your team. So what did you have coming through? How old were the next generation of dogs coming through?
I had a couple of older dogs that were still doing the job and probably, didn't deserve the retirement that they got because they had to stay at work for an extra 12 months. And then I had like Dennis, which is probably my main dog at the minute. He was sort of 12 months younger. And then I had a couple under that were sort of only 12 months that I had to bring into work pretty quick. And I don't like doing that, but you just have to.
Because, sorry, I forgot his name. Jack. Because like obviously he was a pretty handy dog. Did you kind of relax a little because he was still young and not keeps things coming under him because he was?
Well, I don't run a huge business model like that anyway. I sort of only try and keep enough dogs to do the work that I need. I don't run spares. I don't have a paddock team or a yard team or a cow team. I got 3 work dogs and that's it.
Yeah.
So when you lose one, you get a pretty big hole left.
Absolutely.
But I've also found if you've got extras, especially doing what I do and what I want to achieve, you just rob everyone of opportunity. And I believe opportunity's what makes them. They can be the most talented dog. They can be the world best trained dog. You can do all that stuff, but they don't get opportunity. They just don't ever reach their potential. So I'd rather a dog that's probably a bit overworked, that's had a heap of opportunity, than one that's got a heap of talent that's underworked that never reaches his potential.
Yeah, fair enough too. That's cool. Mate, who do you have in your team at the moment?
I've got Dennis, which me and Chloe bred, and then I've got Disney, which is Dennis's younger sister. I've got a dog called Woodja Ace, but I'm about to sort of semi-retire him. And then I've just got a couple of sort of 18-month-olds that are coming in and starting to do a bit of work. But because Chloe's got the young kids, there's a few dogs in her team that have transitioned both ways that I've been borrowing, get a bit of work done. But yeah, that's about all my team is at the minute. And a couple of pups, a couple of sort of 10-week-old pups that are looking okay.
You mentioned you had a couple of litters. What are you looking for?
Well, Dennis is probably just starting to see a few bitches this year, so I'm trying to breed a bit by him. I'm trying to just sort of breed a harder all-rounder type is what I try and do, and then I'll just use work to soften them to get that outside work later in their life. I don't chase anything too extravagant outside early. I find the miles tend to soften them for that. I'd probably look for something that's a little bit more full on, harder to handle, and I just let work sort him out.
Did you like to put a little control on them, or did you take them to work with a little bit on them, or you prefer to?
I used to have them real trained, and then I met a wonderful man called Robert Cox, and he changed the way I do everything. And now I have them pretty raw when I go to work. But they've probably got a lot more natural work left in them. I was training them till 18 months old, like proper trained. And I just found that they didn't have enough real life work left in them when I was taking them to work. And I was just getting disappointed, dog after dog. And then I met Robert. We actually ended up at his place. We seen him at Mansfield at the Australians. And he's like, oh, if you're ever up our way, call in and catch up with us. And we sort of ended up making the trip up there to go and see him. We spent 2 or 3 days with him, and we drove out the driveway and my head was spinning like the whole world. The way I looked at dogs, the way I worked dogs, the whole thing just changed completely. Like
he had that effect.
Yeah, and it took me 2 years to get half a handle on a quarter of what he was trying to teach me. But I think I've got a reasonable grasp on it now, just sort of trying to perfect it and that sort of stuff, and just understand it. Like, it's such a big change compared to what a lot of people teach. So yeah, it took me a lot to, like, basically everything I'd learned up until that point, you had to throw it out the window and start again. Like, it was that different, but it makes so much sense once you see it.
And what resonated with you?
Nothing at the start.
Yeah, thanks for your honesty. Yeah.
It was just that different. Like, I couldn't comprehend that it could ever work, because I couldn't get a feel for any of it.
Yep.
I sort of just went in denial. Like, I was like, I can't be that wrong, good on him. And then we ended up getting him down here for a dog school. Chloe really believed in it. It made a lot of sense to her. And anyway, she got him down here for a school, and that's when it really started sinking in. I was just watching old dogs that I had. Like, I was too chicken probably to take my young ones out there and look like a fool in front of everyone. So I was just working a bit on my old dogs, and its ability to get them soft was one of the things I enjoyed most. And then from then it transitioned to work, and my days at work got easier and better, and the dogs started doing better work, and I wasn't talking to them half as much, and we were coming home and it was a good day. And then I started working on a fair bit with my young dogs, and I was watching young dogs go from sort of pretty disinterested or quite naughty at work to dogs that, really understood their job and had the ability to move sheep in a way that I wanted to move my sheep. Then they transitioned to work so quickly, because the job doesn't change from the train and pen to real work, where before it was completely different. What I was doing in the train and pen to what I was asking my dogs to do in the real work was just too far apart. The dogs just never understood what I was trying to get across to them. Where with what Robert taught me, it happens naturally now. It doesn't matter whether it's 10 or 100 or 1,000 sheep. The exercise is still the same. And my young dogs go to work pretty quick now.
Was there?
Did that have?
You go, Dan.
You're a lot.
It's all right.
I was just going to ask, did that have influence on the way you selected a dog moving forward after that?
Not really, because I always look for them harder type dogs. I probably I get them a lot softer quicker. Where before I was sort of taking 3 or 4 years to get a dog to a point where I would call him trained. Well, now I have a dog at 18 months and do exactly the same jobs with him, and he's not even trained. I've got no lefts, no rights, no anything, but he knows to go to work and he knows to come back, and that's all I need now.
Was it come when called? Be nice to your sheep.
Yeah.
I can't remember his third one. I'll have to have a think about it. Well, but I
Been
remember
dogs with him. I can't remember them either, but it's amazing how simple it is. Just show them where you want the sheep and let them do their job.
so.
Was there like a moment that you just went, yeah, I'm going to follow what you're what you're telling me to do now? Like, was there a line that he said or anything that really?
Not really, because I was so stubborn and pig-headed. I didn't want it to be as good as it looked because I didn't want to have to change. Like, we're all scared of change.
It's human nature, isn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, like I'd been working dogs. I got my first dog when I was 10. So I'd been working dogs for close on 20 years by the time I met Robert. Like, I didn't want to believe that it was all near a waste of time. But when it clicked and I started seeing the change, and it was probably more of my work team at the time, like I just started enjoying it again. I was really disheartened with my dogs 3 or 4 years ago. I was arguing with my old dogs and my young ones were disappointing.
Was that expectation or?
It was probably the fact that I was just doing it wrong. It wasn't expectation because I'd done the homework to get them right, but it was on 12 sheep and I taught them how to move. I taught the dogs how to move, not how to work stock. I could get them to go left. I could get them to go right. I could get them to walk in, walk off, bark, back, all that sort of stuff. But they didn't know how to work sheep. They didn't understand the flight zone. They didn't understand the pressure. They didn't understand the feel of the stock. They didn't know their job was to move them. They thought their job was to run when I to give them a command. And it changed big time once I softened to the dogs.
Start working your sheep, not your dog.
Yep. But I had to soften. I softened to my dogs. I started patting them at the end of every exercise, started closing off things. And then they started working better and I didn't have to tell them as much.
Went home a little bit more mellow?
Oh, heaps more mellow. I enjoyed working them. Like, you know, it just changed everything, really.
Did it change your weekend? Like, you enjoyed, like, you obviously do a fair bit of trialing. Did you find it changed that atmosphere too?
No, it's taken a while because the dogs I was trying to change were pretty set in their ways. I don't think it's until I train my next team of dogs that will change completely. Excuse me. Once I get this next clutch of pups through and trained and into the work team, I think that the weekend stuff will change.
Yeah.
My old dogs don't trust me enough for what I'm trying to do with them now because Robert's method is pretty kind to them, and my old dogs get near me and they're like, "What's this loser doing?" Like, I like you better when it's over there.
But it's also pretty impressive, like, for Rob's methods, the dogs have to be pretty solid in the mind as well. Like, he really relies on a solid mind dog. So it's pretty impressive that not only did you adopt a different style, but your dogs were able to take that on board as well. But if you weren't chasing the type of dog that you normally would, you may have had to change a couple of things if you wanted to, like in terms of your dogs.
I agree. They got to be solid in their mind, but I think they have to be more solid in the mind if you're going to have a dog that you're going to train to manipulate every move that he does. I think a dog to do it Robert's way has to be a dog that understands his stock and wants to work. As long as he's got desire, he'll get away with it.
Yeah.
A dog with a huge amount of desire isn't going to like being told what to do every time that he moves.
No.
As long as he's got desire, I can work with him. And I believe Rob could too, because all you're doing is just feeding his addiction.
Yep.
His addiction is he wants to work and you're just telling him he's good at it.
Absolutely.
You just summed that up, actually.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I love a good butt. I love a good butt.
Yeah.
No, but you're spot on as well. Like, yeah, like they do have to be solid in the mind, but that addiction is huge as well. Like something that doesn't like to be told what to do.
It's my number one trait in a dog is desire. I can work with so much desire. I can't work with a dog that doesn't want to work with me.
I remember Coxie saying on this, he goes, "I can deal with the dumb dog that wants to work, but I can't deal with a smart one that doesn't get."
I see
Only down
exactly
that line.
the same thing. I've got a bitch here at the minute. We've bred a couple litters of pups from her, and she's talented and just an absolute pig of a thing. And I see that in her pups, and I'm picking it at like 8 weeks old in her pups, and I'm like, I'm not doing that again. Like, someone else can have them, not for me. But
I was going to say, what would you breed from her though, if that's the case?
I sort of I bred for her father, and I was hoping that I could line traits up and minimise her personality, but it hasn't worked. It's still there.
Do you think it shows more in the bitches than the dogs?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the sire.
Yeah.
I find sires. I think sires let the bitch have more say than other sires.
Yeah.
And probably the ones I've used have probably been a little bit. They probably haven't been punchy enough to override what I'm trying to fix. But she's also a dog that's got plenty of work in it, so I didn't want to go too much and then not have run the risk of not being able to handle them.
Yep.
But I don't think she gets to see another sire for a while. Let these pups mature.
How do you go about picking a sire?
I try and have I got a couple of lines of dogs that I really like that have worked for me for quite a while, and I sort of try and stick to them, and then get traits as well. Like I won't ever use a dog just on his pedigree. Like he's got to be the right type of dog in his traits as well. But I probably wouldn't use a dog who carried all the right traits but didn't have the right pedigree behind him either. Purely because I think you just start running the risk of getting something that you're not looking for. If you can get it,
yeah.
I'm not a huge breeder, so I don't have to worry about finding many sires. Like, I might only have 1 or 2 litters a year, 3 in a big year. So, and a lot of my bitches, I can join all 3 of them to the one sire in the same 12 months. So I only need to find one dog. Like as long as I can find 2 dogs at a time that I want to use, I'm pretty right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what are those lines you'd normally like to chase?
So it's probably in the early days, it was like Silver City Rowdy and then Sultan Cobber. They were the 2 main ones. And I still try to keep a fair bit of that in the dogs that I select for now as much as I can. They're obviously getting pretty watered down, but if you've seen them dogs originally back in the day when they were running around, you can still pick the traits in their pups or they're grand pups now that you're trying to chase. So as long as what you're looking for is there, I think you'll get what you're after.
Yeah. Right. So in a pup, what are you looking for to pick your own pup? You're obviously trying to put some kind of effort into picking the one for you rather than just taking the last one.
Yeah, 100%. Well, this last litter, we sort of were pretty lucky. Like the bloke who we used, he owned the sire, and then we owned the bitch. We actually sort of did the reverse. We sold off the ones we didn't like first to outside orders. We ended up keeping 6 between the 3 of us, and then we each took 2 each, and then we just weeded them down from there. I don't know whether it's going to work or not yet. They're only sort of 10, 12 weeks old, but there's a couple there that we like. But you could have picked them pups at a week old, and they haven't changed. They're still the most boldest, the most forward. and they've got that desire, and you could have picked it early.
Putting the food bowl down sounded like a bit of sounds like it was impressive to watch. Coming flying forward.
Yeah, no, they Chloe had to put a bend on them pretty early because they kept knocking Matilda over and mauling her. There was 9 of them in the litter, and they used to get it down pretty quick. So they got some manners put on them pretty early. But yeah, they were pretty outgoing forward litter of pups, but the two that I think are going to end up being the better ones of the litter, like you could have picked them at a week old, 2 weeks old. They were just different. They were forward. They followed you everywhere. They were just the pups that you would always just found yourself picking them up first.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's that personality or whether it's just that extra exposure that they allow themselves to get, but they've just leaps and bounds in front of the others.
So what you said they're about 10 odd weeks now. What are you going to look for in those over the next couple of months?
So they're probably nearly at the point now where I'd like to see them balance. So that's their next set of criteria, and we're back to 3 here. We moved one on. We went away on holidays. We went to Broken Hill for Ag Fair. We took a few pups with us, and just that 3 or 4 days of handling them non-stop, you got a good feel of who was going to meet your criteria going forward. We ended up moving one on from that. He just was the last one you'd ever catch. And you'd open the door up on the side of the ute, and he would always be sitting in the back of his cage. He wasn't looking to come out and be picked up or put down on the ground. And so we ended up moving him on. And then now, like I said, we're at the stage where we're going to start balancing them up. So I just like the pup that wants to get to the head if a sheep breaks, but more importantly, if you shut that inside of your mob down, I want them to look to go to the outside and muster and gather their stock. I don't want to see a dog that cuts in and drops in on the outside shoulder of one and pushes it away from the mob.
Yep.
I want to see him get clean of his mob, and then I want to be able to block him up in a corner and have that pup want to come to me, want to be picked up. And I feed that by putting him back down again, rewarding him with his sheep once he's had a pat. So my sessions for these pups look pretty basic. I just get them in a good position, balance them up, do the sort of couple of times each way. And once I hold them together good, then I go to a corner and block them up and catch them. And I'll do that 3 times before I finish the session. The sessions might only be 5 minutes, but they get picked up and put down 3 times, patted. And yeah, I just want a pup that wants to be with me and wants to hold his stock together, and I can work with the rest.
So you're just doing that in a bigger pen, or just in the corner of the paddock?
No, I'm pretty lucky. I've got a reasonable setup here. My trainers live in the sheep yards, so just in one of the bigger holding pens. I try to give that pup as much room as he can to display himself. I don't want a barrier of a fence bumping him in or not letting him get where he needs to. If I'm having trouble, I might just use an old dog to shut that corner down so the sheep can't go and bury their heads in it. But that's about it. The rest of the time, the pup's got to do all the work, and I just want to see what he's all about.
What are you trying to sheep?
Just some leftover weather lambs.
Just merinos?
No, composites.
Composites, yep, nice. So they don't dog up as quick either.
I found if you train on the stock that you're going to work, there's no surprises when that dog leaves the training pen.
Yep.
If I had quite little merinos, then I take him working on composite ewes, he's going to have a hard time adjusting. I don't want to make any excuses for him. I want that cream to rise to the top. And I don't want to have any excuses for why he mightn't have done what he should have done.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally get that. Like anything, like prepare equivalent, if not harder than game day.
100%. Yep.
So what age are you first showing them stock then? Like how many weeks old?
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yep. I find for the type of pup that I breed, earlier is nearly better within reason. And I say that because I find if you don't feed their addiction early enough, they'll hook it onto something else. Whether it's it might be the wheelbarrow, it might be the cat, it might be birds, it might be chooks, might be cars driving past, whatever.
My least favorite, other dogs.
Other dogs, yep. They'll just hook onto them. But if you can get them addicted to sheep early, then they've always got that addiction. You really can't get it out of them. So I'll show them 7 weeks. If they switch on, that's great. If they don't, they don't. Like, I'm not too hard on that. But I'll show them every week after that. But I want to see them doing something by 12 weeks. 12 weeks is the cutoff for me.
Yeah.
And the reason I do that is I want to breed early, mature, and early starting pups. So when someone comes and buys a pup off me, they don't have to feed it for 12 months wondering whether it's going to work one day. I want them to see some value for money early.
And you're not keeping the money to the side going, might have to give this one back.
Yeah. It's like, and I'm at the point now where I won't let a pup go unless it's showing some sign.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to be chasing, getting to the head, doing something. So when that person takes him home and has some mates around and have a beer, that pup will do something.
I think that's a lot of people have gone down that path in the last couple of years as well, as opposed to just, selling that pup and not showing it something. But then if something comes back and someone, because let's be honest, it's easy to break a pup. There's so many people out there that don't know what they're doing. They go, it doesn't do anything. But every other pup in the litter is doing something. So why isn't that one? So by approaching it the way you are, you're going, well, it's already interested. Like, yeah, it might not be, even if it's not the work style you want, the dog's still doing something. Like, that's what you put your name on, right? The dog will show interest in lifestyle.
Well, I think it's part of the contract of the Working Kelvin Council, isn't it?
Well, actually, that's very interesting because I always thought it was.
Yeah.
Until recently, someone told me it's not. And I'm talking like in the last 3 weeks, someone's mentioned that to me and I went, no, it is. And they're like, you might want to go back and read it. And I always thought it was a guarantee, but apparently it may not be. I haven't gone back and read it, to be honest.
Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure it always used to be there. If it's changed, it would have changed.
Yeah, I was confident like yourself, mate. So, but I haven't gone back and checked. So if anyone's listening, I want to go and check it.
Outside of that, it's a personal thing, rule of mine. I don't want someone to be disappointed in what I sell them. I'd rather them be thinking they got a bargain than thinking they got ripped off.
A bit of personal satisfaction, eh?
100%, yeah. And I love people having dogs they got off of me that are great. If that's the best dog they've ever had, good on them. Like, I couldn't care if I sold the best pup of the litter. Honestly, I'd love to have him myself, but if someone else got him and they're real happy with him and he's a corker, well, that's good for everyone.
That's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mate, so we mentioned trialing there. How long have you been trialing?
Oh, I started when I was 10, just running dad's dogs in the encourage. And then I sort of got my own dog around that time, and he took a little while to get a handle on. He was pretty raw. And dad was sort of working him during the week because he needed miles, and then I was trying to trial him on the weekend, and he was just running over the top of me. And he had a fair bit of engine to him. He took a fair bit of handling, and I took a long time to have enough sort of behind me to handle him too. And we finally got a sort of ducks in a row, and I got out of the novice when I was 14 and won my first open.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from then on, I've sort of been pretty well trialing, but when I was away contract and that, I just wasn't around it for 3 or 4 years. I had a fair break. And then, sort of once we settled back down again, we got back into it. And that was good for everyone. Like, Chloe's obviously really enjoys the sport, so it makes weekends better if she wants to come along, the girls get to come. So, but yeah, I've sort of been trialing for a fair while now.
What is it that brought you back to it and that you love about it?
I enjoy the people. I enjoy catching up with mates and just talking dogs, really. Like I don't do a lot of it now for myself, but I love helping and catching up with mates and talking dogs, and it's always good to get a ribbon. But if you don't, well, it's not a wasted weekend. There's plenty of fun to be had.
Absolutely. Sorry, don't mean to be rude. How old are you, Josh?
32.
32. So you've been trying the best part of 18 years. Like that's a long time. So I imagine there's a lot of friends.
Yeah, no, I've got a pretty big network, and like trial in Victoria at the minute, it's super competitive, and there's a great group of people. Like it's great fun.
Yeah, I know. Would you stop coming up here and whipping everyone's ass? Like, give us a shot, would you?
Yeah, yeah, it happens. It's not much. It's not more fun down here. I'll give you the tip. Yeah.
Actually, I think Dean took out your state champion, and Brad took out ours. So
Yeah.
that's actually one thing I really enjoy. Particularly, like that's a reason I like going down the Henty trial. Like a whole heap of Victorians come up, and it's good to you meet new people, you make new mates, you see different dogs. Like it's real cool, and to see them come up and compete in the New South is really cool, and it's nothing new. Like they have for a while now, both ways, and it's just really cool to see.
Oh, and the state's only a line on a map. At the end of the day, we're all in these dogs together. Like we're all a community of one, trying to make stockmanship cool, really. And
except for tomorrow night, mate, New South Wales and the border up the top.
Yeah.
That will change a bit. That line will get pretty thick.
But
It'll be all good on Thursday if New South Wales win.
but yeah, in the dog world, I think we are all in it together. We are all just out there to have the best dog and showcase what we do every day of the week, really.
Absolutely, mate. And have you done much other than yard trialing?
Not really. Done a few utilities and stuff. Never got really into cattle dog trialing. Like I've always had to travel a fair way for cattle dog trialing, and sort of one of those things. Like if I'm going to drive that way, I'd like to be half good at it first. I'm not going to drive all that way to get a wooden spoon, but I'm not going to get any better at it if I don't do it either. And yeah, I've probably one of my biggest downfalls is I've never really had much time, and it's a cop out, but to get a genuine type utility dog, I just haven't put the work in to make them understand that side of it. I want to one day. I'd love to be competitive at it, but I just haven't made the time to get my dogs there yet.
I love how honest you are about everything. You just go, yeah, not there or whatnot. Like you're real genuine like that. I really love that. That's cool.
Well, I think it's the only way to be, isn't it?
Absolutely, I believe so.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you won the state there a few years ago. Have you got any other big achievements or memorable moments?
I've done a lot of trial in South Australia because we're pretty close to the border here. Like more South Australian trials are closer to us than most Victorian ones, so we do a lot over there. And I've won 2 South Australian states. I've got a dog of the year over there a while ago, and I've made 2 Australian top 10s, and that's about as far as it goes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not anyone makes a top 10. No, that's real cool. All wins 2 states.
No, I'm pretty happy with that. Like I'm nowhere near where I want to get to, but so far I'm pretty happy with how it's all happened. Like the dogs have performed pretty well, especially for what I consider genuine work dogs for what I do day in and day out. Like I don't have dogs to trial. I just trial with what I've got in the camp.
Yeah,
I'd never keep a dog who wasn't good at work but was good at trial. Like I had a dog years ago called Kelvin Lane, and he won South Australian Novice Dog of the Year and South Australian Open Dog of the Year, and I sold him the year after. He just wasn't doing what I needed him to do at home, and I ended up moving him on.
a bloke that's had so much experience working goats like you, have you ever like had a couple of beers with the boys and run a goat trial? Like just to
I've never done it, but we were talking about it the other day up at Broken Hill at Ag Fair. So Ag Fair itself is sort of biannual. We're trying to run a trial up there every year to try and keep it on people's calendars so they want to come. And we were talking about running the goat trial in conjunction with it as a bit of an all-early event.
I'd love to have a crack at a goat. Like I'd love there to be a few goat trials, and I'd love to have a crack at it. I'd love like one of these all-round stock dogs or USDs to have the paddock section to be goats. All right, it'll be so cool.
They're a humbling animal.
Oh yeah.
Geez, they give you a pizzling. And like it's such a unique dog, like I was touched on earlier, like they've got to be so good.
Mate, is there anything you'd like to add into your line moving forward?
At this point, they probably don't cover quite square enough for what I'm looking for. I probably hit the head a bit hard, which is a side effect of having a dog that goes to the pressure spot. They go hand in hand. When there's conflict, they go at it rather than breaking off of it and letting it come back or dealing with it in a different way. They probably just go to the conflict a little bit too much.
Yep.
And my main line of dog doesn't have a lot of bark in it, but I don't use a lot of bark either. Like I find bark on these type of sheep tends to, well, they just turn around and look at it. I want to know where it comes from.
Yeah.
I find the more silent type dogs work better on these sheep. You work on presence and positioning as much as anything for what I'll try and do. But yeah, I'd like I said, I'd like to be able to do some more utility trialing, and I wish they probably just cover a little bit better. They're a bit slow to cover, and they probably try and smack them on the nose before they get square of them.
Yep. Actually, that's something I wanted to ask. I thought about it earlier. Like earlier, you talked about like contracting and like flow and how important flow is.
Yeah.
Do you believe, or how did that help you yard trialing? And I suppose that's just the question. Like how did that concept help you yard trialing?
I think it was both detrimental as well as good. Like your dogs end up being impatient, which doesn't help yard trialing at all. But it also gives you the ability to be able to pick a leader out of a pen of sheep and manipulate him to the front. Your dogs probably do end up a bit rougher than you need for yard trialing, but that comes back to that time too. Like if you put the time back into the training pen and get them soft and get them around their stock a bit better, you can work through that.
Yeah.
But that ability to look at a pen of sheep and go, there's the leader, it's invaluable yard trialing.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But it's not going to help your dog when it comes to utility trialing, like you just mentioning there, right?
No, not at all utility trialing, especially not the lack of patience. But I'd probably run out of patience utility trial long before the dog does.
Mate, what advice would you give to someone looking to buy a dog?
I've been thinking about this question. I went back and listened to a couple of dog talks while I was sitting in the boom spray last week, and I was like, this is a question I've been thinking about. And I listened to Thomas Woodford's dog talk where he's talking about purchasing a dog and that. And I genuinely believe if you were to get into dogs at the minute, don't mess around with a pup. Don't mess around with, even something semi-started. Save your bickies. Go and buy something that you're looking for and just get out there working it. You could go through 10 or 12 pups to find the one dog that you want to keep. And by the time you did that, you could spend 15 grand and buy a good going dog that you can take to work. And I reckon that's where the value's at. And I did it. After I lost Jack, I went and bought Wood Jace out of Lucendale out of the auction to fill a hole in the team, and he's been one of the best, money well spent for my team and for work and breeding. Like, if you do your homework properly, there's nothing stopping you buying a good work dog, a good trial dog, and a good, asset to your breeding side of things as well. And you you're set up.
Yeah, great advice, man. Especially like sometimes, you get a sentimental attachment to that pup you buy. And even though it might be a square peg in a round hole, but you're just too caught up and it's too sentimental to move it on and just to admit, we're not the right fit. And that could be a couple of years down the track.
And I think we're too caught up in short-term goals too, Dan. Like,
yep.
Someone wants to get a dog and they want to start trialing, they want to go to work and, they want to get into contract or get a farm job or something. Like, a pup's not going to be any good to you for 3 years, realistically. And probably your first dog, he's probably not going to be much good for you until he's 4 or 5. Like, you're going to make that many mistakes and take that long training him. If you went and got a dog that had half an idea of what you're trying to achieve, you're probably going to learn more from him than you're ever going to teach him. But it's going to give you a good stepping stone and a bit of breathing space to get those goals, get that addiction for the dogs that you need. Not be disheartened every time you go and do something with him because you don't know what you're doing. And this, like you said, the young dog's not a good fit anyway. Where if you went and bought something that is what it is, there's no secrets to it. You've gone and watched it demo. You've gone and watched it at someone's place. You've rang them 1,000,000 times and asked them 1,000 questions. Like, there's no secrets. You might have to pay a little bit more, but you get twice the value out of it, I believe.
That's great advice, mate. Totally agree. That's it. They've been around for a while. I'll be nice the way I say that. Are there any dogs out there that you've ever gone, like, I want that dog on the end of my lead?
There's been a few. Like I'm not going to lie, there's been quite a few, really. Like, I always had a bit of a dog crush on Would You Cruise that Kate Jubb had. Like, I thought he was pretty special. And Native Hut Digger that Marcus Campbell had, he was a hell of a dog, like, just so smart. But yeah, there's always the special dogs, I believe them proper champions, you might get one every 10 years, might be one every 15 years, a dog of a generation. Like, done a fair bit of trialing with Cash of Aodes and watched Snip do a bit of work. And, that's some of the more modern type dogs. But years ago, I watched Ricky Jones trial a fair bit. It's pretty cool to watch his dogs work, obviously come from that goat background. They were pretty classy, pretty square on their stock. They had a huge amount of grip and feel, but still a lot of presence and power when they needed it. Like, they were all good dogs. But yeah, no, there's been quite a few that I've enjoyed watching and definitely would have loved to have in my team. They'd be an asset in anyone's team, I would have thought.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned Ricky there and Rob earlier, Foxy earlier. What about mentors, mate? How have they helped you throughout?
Heaps. Like, my old man, obviously just being around it all the time, you'll pick up a heap from him. And we did a lot with Rick earlier. Like, Rick gave me my first dog when I wanted to get started. Like, I was sort of 10 and I'd been cutting firewood and earned a bit of pocket money, and went to Rick and said, look, I got $400. I want to buy a pup. And he goes, I'm not selling you one. And I was like, well, no, but I've got my money. He goes, no, I'll give you one. Like, you're not paying for it. And I won't forget that. Like, he's been real good in the early days, and then, obviously later on, like Cox, he's been sensational.
And
some well-established names there, mate.
Yeah.
You've obviously managed and hired and fired a lot of people over your time with what you've done with work. Is there any advice to someone wanting to start out, young or old, whatever age?
Just get after it. Like, I see one of the biggest, I don't know, I don't have a better word for it, but say faulting someone coming in the workforce nowadays is they just don't want it bad enough. They just don't want to work. And, like, if you want something, it doesn't matter what it is, just get after it. If it's your dogs, if it's work, if it's a job, if it's a car, if it's anything, just pretty much just get after it. Ask as many questions as you can, show up, work. Especially in agriculture nowadays, or probably any job really, but I only know agriculture is, if you're there before anyone and you leave after anyone and you work from the time you get there to the time you leave, you'll be that far in front of anyone. It's not funny. Like, because people just don't want to do
Spot on, mate. It's funny, like you gave that advice and you made that comment about finding it hard to get people up. We're 159 episodes in, and I don't know anyone that said, "Oh, did on your hands and wait for it to come." Like,
that happens.
It'll come for it. Just just sit there and wait for it, and it's going to come to you. And we're giving this advice all the time, but yeah, it is still so hard to find people. But there's so many people that say that I want to do that, but
yeah,
I suppose that might come back down to the dog you pick as well, right? Desire, like
100%. It's all the same. Like, if someone or an animal like a dog doesn't want to do it, you can't make them. Like, you can get your foot up their bum and they'll be real good while the foot's there. But as soon as you take it out, they're just going to go back to the way they are. And employees are no different. While you're around them, they'll be sensational. But they get over the hill and the phone comes out and they get caught up opening a gate that's not hard to open for half an hour because they're on Facebook and like how long a job should take. And yeah, all of a sudden it's taken an extra hour longer than it needs to, and only half the job's done anyway.
There's some good parallels to draw when employees been there for a while and you're like, that thing's getting longer, or I know the phone's out more, or they're little subtle things that I look at as well. Yeah. And then you just have that talk. Is everything okay? Like,
a post has gone up on Facebook and you've seen it go up, and you wonder when they found the time to do
it. Yeah, pretty good. Got a pretty good team around us now, but I have witnessed that in the last 5 years. But yeah. Mate, is there anything that we haven't spoke about today that you would like to shine a spotlight on?
Not really. And probably touching on that one question that Laura just had. It's the same with the dog trialing world. I see a lot of people come into dog trialing and they expect everything handed to them on a silver platter, and it's not the case. It's a craft, it's an art, and you got to work at it pretty hard. If you want knowledge, you got to ask questions, and people won't just give it to you. You got to earn it. You got to get in the let out. You got to let sheep out. You got to help set trials up. You got to pack up. You got to get on the stopwatch. You got to do all that stuff. Go and buy a can of Coke for the judge if he's thirsty. Just help, and people will help you back. Me and Travis Scott run a training day there back in the spring, and it was one of the biggest notes that I would give anyone is the best grandstand in the house is in the let out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You watch the way every mob of sheep handle. You watch the way that every dog interacts with them stock and how the sheep handle. And you got no distractions. It's all right in front of you. And you just learn how that trial runs. And then, your good handlers will be down there too. And you pick their brain. All of a sudden you're getting advice from the best handlers in the sport, all because you went and let sheep out. These trials are getting harder and harder to run. Same reason, there's just not enough volunteers. People just don't help.
Absolutely agree with you, mate. Everything you just said there. Man, I don't know how many trials. I'd be at a trial that's not even that far, and I'd still get home in the dark and be like, why are you home so late? Well, we had to pack up, and put in the effort in, and I don't believe that it was unnoticed. Not for the quality people that are worth talking to anyways. They notice.
100%. They should. It's like dog sport, really. It sticks out that much when someone's offering, helping, because it's not the normal. It's someone's outside of the normal. They stand out that much.
And it's something that I have noticed. I hadn't done a lot of yard trialing over the last 3-4 years, maybe. But coming back and doing, I haven't even done half a dozen this year. But just noticing people new to it, just standing around and watching.
Yeah, but I'm gonna stand up here and say sometimes it is hard for a new person who doesn't know anyone to come and step into that. To know that it's okay to come and help. I think sometimes you guys also have to, not invite isn't the right word, but make it known at, whether that's the judges talk or over the microphone, those sort of things. Because sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming to go and hop into the let out. So a big name's there, you're a young person. Sometimes it's hard to put yourself out there. And this is I think it needs to be seen from both sides. So,
no, actually, that's a real good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
If I didn't have Daniel telling me to go and hop in the let out before I'm always happy to help, always have been, was grown up helping. But if I didn't have someone saying that's so-and-so, go and help them, and doing that introduction sometimes it is hard to get out of your comfort zone and step up and help. Because sometimes you think, am I allowed to be there? Or is that not a special volunteers role, but sorry. Just
no. And it's sort of like an unwritten rule. A lot of our trials is you let two lots of sheep out the run after yours. So you go run, put your dog away, and then you jump in and let two lots of sheep out. And it's not a rule, but it's like an unwritten rule as such. And you just watch so many people shirk on it.
But you don't know what you don't know, and an unwritten rule's unwritten. So you don't know that rule.
We mention it at most judges' talks.
Okay.
That's cool.
It is part. It's not as part of the judge doesn't mention it. It's part of the convener's address.
Mm-hmm.
It's please take a turn helping in the let out.
Yeah.
You can do a couple of runs, it'll be fine. But just the amount of people that find an excuse not to do. And it ends up being the same half a dozen people do it all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
If there's some more experienced handlers out there, and it's not just yard trialing, utility, 3 sheep, cattle. If there are some more experienced handlers listening to this, I really hope that we take that point on. And if you're at your next trial and you see some more inexperienced people there, bring them, drag them down, go, hey, come down here, help us with this. Do you want to see it from a different point of view? Because there might be those people out there that just don't know yet. So, and I could speak for part of for the New South Wales Yard Dog Association, for example. Membership is just so high now. There are so many new people coming in. So, it might be a good icebreaker to take, to help a few newbies in and break some ice and make them feel a bit more part of the team as well.
Oh, and I remember I was in the let out before I even trialed a dog. It's where you learn everything. Everything.
It's the best seat in the house, really.
Well,
I used to make Laura work the sheep before she had a dog.
Yeah. Best spot to learn, best spot to meet people, everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Laura, what's your special question of the night?
I've got one here. Would you rather have sand in your shoes or crumbs in your bed?
Sand in my shoes.
That's fair enough. No, you don't even need a why.
Nah, and the reason is I can take them off and dust them out before I get into bed, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the trouble. They answered that so quick. Did you know it was coming, or?
Nah. I just hate crumbs in bed.
Oh, I can't stand a bit of sand or something in the sheets, or just I was the same. I'd rather.
I lived out in Swag for 6 years, and it just drives you nuts. You get one prickle or a burr in there, and you can never find it. And you nearly have to buy a new swag. Just ruin you.
Oh, Josh, thank you very much for our yarn tonight, mate. I really enjoyed it. It's been real eye-opening. I just love the experience, how rounded you are in terms of not just the person, but experience as well. Thanks for joining us, mate. It's been a really good yarn.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciated
it. Cheers, thank you. And to everyone that at least tuned in tonight or is listening back, please remember we learn. I absolutely just had a stroke. We learn every day or something like that. What is it, Laura?
Please remember we learn. Now you've stuffed me up. I knew you were going to say it.
Please remember we learn every day. And the day we stop learning is a sad one for all of us. I could hear that laughing at me out the back. Thank you.